Day 32 in the Big Brother UK house, and before I get into that, I would just like to discuss some of the drama that's going on over on Facebook. That place is full of drama. A lot of people on Facebook were posting about Trish and her tweets from 10 years ago. Now, I'm not justifying anything that she said 10 years ago, but people on Facebook are like, oh, all the Trish fans, they're going to feel stupid now that they know that she's a bully and she discriminates and stuff. And I'm like, no, that's actually not how my brain works. Something happened 10 years ago, but what I seen in the house was a woman who stands up for herself, isn't afraid to be honest, stands up for her friends. Aye, okay, she was greedy and selfish at times, and as I've mentioned a million times, I wasn't specifically a Trish fan, but I didn't understand why people were calling her a bully, so I'm not going to judge somebody based on something that they did 10 years ago online. So somebody was arguing with me, I can't even remember what it was about, but basically they were talking about Trish, and I was saying how Paul was a waste of oxygen, and we got into this conversation, and then they just messaged me this morning and said, oh, you must be a racist and a scumbag like Trish. Now, it's a very dangerous thing to say that to somebody in front of people, and especially online, because every single video that I've made and every single post, anything that I've ever said in my life is the complete opposite of what they're saying. So they've tried to make me look bad when all the evidence points in the opposite direction, and people really need to be very careful. When I've spoke about people talking about AJ and Trish, all I've said is, we know what's going on here, or I've insinuated it, but I've never actually used the word, so people really need to watch what they're saying. I'm more than happy for somebody to call me a scumbag, a bitch, a cunt, whatever, but do not come at me and say that I discriminate against anybody for sexuality, skin colour, nationality, or anything else like it, because it is the complete opposite of what I'm like. Anyway, I reported them to Facebook and admin so they can take themselves to fuck. So last night we had the BB Academy. Noki was the deputy head, Jordan and Henry were the faculty members, and Jordan was so funny. Like, I can so imagine him being a teacher like that. In Jordan's class, Jenkins decided to pipe up all of a sudden for the first time in 5 weeks, and he was talking about people being game players and them kissing on the bed and in the hot tub and stuff. And at the time, I kind of thought, oh, he's sticking up for his friend. He doesn't want Henry to be hot. And he thinks that Jordan's using him to win the money. And I was like, oh, that's kind of good that he's standing up for Henry, if that's how he feels. But then he turned around and nominated Henry. And I was like, why did he feel the need to pipe up about that when he wanted Henry to go? I think that Jenkins' real problem was that Jordan and Henry will be getting attention on the cameras now, and he wants to be the centre of attention, even though he's kept his mouth shut for 5 full fucking weeks. Henry was downstairs getting a drink of water, and Tom put an egg in his water, and I was like, oh, fuck off, he's literally just trying to get a drink. And then Henry turned around and smacked him, mate, and I was like, yes, I wish he'd have smacked him right in the fucking smug face. Henry was teaching the wine tasting class, obviously, and I used to do wine tasting when I was at college, and I thought, you know what, I'd love to have him as my teacher. I think he would be so funny. It's finally time for face-to-face noms, and it was so unbrutal that I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. Like, I get that people don't want to hurt other people's feelings, and they were standing up and they were saying nice things still, like, oh, maybe we just don't get on, or maybe you're just not my cup of tea, or whatever, right? But if I was doing face-to-face noms, like say I was in the house, right, and Paul was in the house, I would get up and do my face-to-face noms, and I'd say, I'm voting for you because you're a total cunt bag, you're selfish, I can't wait to get you out of the house, you're a fucking Ned, and I don't even want to look at you. Right, like, what's wrong with just being honest with people? So anyway, Jenkins and Jordan were definitely up for nomination, and then because Matty and Yunrun had the least amount of nominations, they had to vote for the last person to go up. So Yunrun chose Tom and Matty chose Olivia, and they were sitting talking about it, right, and Yunrun's crying as usual. And then Matty says, oh, like, I could work with Olivia, like, I could maybe try and talk to Olivia and get on with her a bit better, right? So because it was down to they two, and then Big Brother says, right, it's time to choose, and they had to stand up. So Tom, for whatever reason, was being a complete fucking cunt, right? Because Yunrun said his name. So when they stood up, he pulled this face, like, it was pure anger, right? And he's like, just pick me, like, whatever it was, like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Like, chill out, right? Maybe if he'd have fucking kept his mouth shut, they'd have picked Olivia. But he told them to pick him, and then Matty was like, right, okay, fine, I pick you, right? And then he went in a fucking awful mood, right? And he was really aggressive. And I was like, don't tell people to pick you if you don't want to be picked. Sit there and shut the fuck up. Like, when they were doing the face-to-face noms, right? And Jenkin obviously didn't want to be up, but he was like putting himself forward because Jordan had done it. No, that's not how you do it in the Big Brother house. Be honest. Just say, look, I don't want to be up, right? If people think you're a game player, fuck it. You're in there, it is a game. And Tom's like, oh, I'm in here for the experience, blah, blah, blah. But he seemed awful angry for somebody who's not in there to win the money. So they picked him and he was being a total fuck. And then he was like, oh, I'm not comforting Yunrun because she's crying when it's me that's up. And I totally agree with that, right? Like, don't go and comfort Yunrun. She's the one who's upset when it's you that could be going. But then when they stood up and they were evicted, right, obviously at this point we already knew that it was a fake eviction. So I wasn't like, oh my god. But if I hadn't have known that, then I would have been like, oh shit, they've just been evicted, right? So they ended up going into the secret room and then they were watching them on the headset on the Late and Live show. And they were all like, we miss you guys, blah, blah, blah. And then Henry was like, love you, Jordan. And then Jordan came back in and Tom turned around blatantly and went, oh, they don't even give a fuck that we're gone. They don't miss us. Right? And he's just such a fucking angry wee fucking lying child. And then he turned around to Jenkin and went, oh, they don't miss us, don't they not? And then Jenkin was just like, no. And I thought, what is wrong with you? Is Jenkins so easily led that he just agrees with anything that people say? Fucking weak ass bitches. Near the end of the show, Olivia was talking about Jenkins and how he would snap at her sometimes, and he was saying, oh, I never expected that for Olivia at all, this is a totally new side to her. But she was saying, oh, he was paranoid about how he had to dress in the dancing competition, and I've never like been paranoid about my body because I'm a size 6. Now, I am not saying that Olivia's fat or anything, right? But there's no fucking way she's a size 6. Maybe she's an American size 6, but she's not a UK size 6. I work with people who are size 6s, and they're literally like half the size of her. But anyway, whatever makes you feel better about yourself. So on the Late and Live show, I didn't get to see it all, but I seen about half. And Zach and Frida were there, and I was like, great. Just who I wanted to see. To be fair, at least it wasn't Paul and Chanel. I'd have put it off straight away. The celebrity panel were talking about the housemates, and one of them said, I think that Henry's one of the most genuine people in the house. And Zach said, I disagree, because before I left, we started really getting on with each other, and he was like fist bumping me. And we were going into the diary room and we were like talking to each other and stuff, and then he nominated me. This is coming for the guy who came out and says, oh, I was really nice to everybody in the house, I got on with everybody in the house, and I made an effort to speak to everybody in the house. But guess what? Fuck what? You had to fucking nominate people as well. Frida was talking about Jordan and saying that he was so desperate for the 100k and he was a game player. This is coming for the woman who's already been on other TV shows and her literal life is on social media. She's a fucking hypocrite. They were talking about Olivia and how she's grew throughout the season, and Zach said before he left he had a conversation with Olivia and he was like, oh, where I come from, you have respect. And Olivia used to swear in front of Frida. And you just don't do that. Being old doesn't give you a free pass. Frida used to go about the house shouting at everybody, and at one point she shouted at Olivia for laughing, and she pointed at her. I'd have been like, who the fuck are you pointing at, cunt bag? I don't understand why people try and keep the peace all the time. It's one thing to be nice to people that you like and who you get on with, or if somebody's respectful, then by all means don't turn around and say you're a fucking idiot. But if somebody's going to treat you like shit, then feel free to treat them like shit back. See all this be kind for no reason. Don't be kind to people that treat you like crap. Let me know in the comments who you voted for last night. I put 3 votes on Tom and 2 on Jenkin. To be honest, I'm not really that bothered if Jordan or Jenkin go back in, but I'd like Jordan to go in to see Henry's wee face. I just find it hilarious that Jenkin and Tom have decided to lash out after 5 fucking weeks of being silent. Tom is an actual child and he needs to go. Anyway, if you would like to talk more about Big Brother or just listen to me rant, give me a follow.